Let's talk to Nicole Elliott. Nicole is a private investor and technical analyst. Morning to you, young Nicole.
Hello,
Three
Nick.
thought-provoking charts, as always. Let's kick off with the weekly CAD. What's going on here?
Well, what I was thinking about is how does one work one's way through a trade war?
Yeah.
I mean, a real war, I have got nothing to say on the subject.
Yeah.
But a trade war, I have a few ideas up my sleeve.
Okay.
And so I thought we'd have a look at that. So obviously one can use words, threats, tariffs, sanctions,
Yep.
interest rate policy,
Yep.
QE, buying ETFs, and last but not least, currency manipulation.
Okay.
So this is one that I know a bit about.
Right.
So that's why I brought the Canadian dollar here. That's quoted as Canada per US,
Okay.
which is how we do it here in Europe. And it's a weekly chart going back 2 years, 2 and a bit years. And what you can see, this thing does have some big swings. And the reason is that Canada has possibly got the most to lose from actions that Mr. Trump might or might not
Or might not.
authorise. Anyway, so what you can see here is that it keeps moving in these ABC waves, right? So from the all-time high, we back up, right? So we got to an interim low in 2016. We go up to an interim A, which is when Mr. Trump won.
Okay.
Yeah? And then it comes down again to B when Mr. Trump starts work.
Yep.
And then goes up again to C when it hits that trend line. Okay, so that's your ABC. And then we thump down again, right?
Yep.
We thump down, just like so we're getting a repeat here of a slightly smaller scale.
Okay.
And now what we have completed, in my opinion, is another A, B, C, where C again is just under the trend line and on a Fibonacci retracement level. And the reason that this second sort of ABC type move is smaller than the first one is because of the numbers. Okay, when the numbers are big,
Yep.
the points are bigger.
Okay.
When the numbers are small, you get fewer points out of it.
Yep.
Percentages are the same. You're with me? Now, what we've got on the bottom here is a trend line which comes in from 2012. I think we're going to break through that one now and then have another big dump. In other words, the US dollar is going to get a lot weaker and the Canadian dollar stronger. So in terms of trade war,
Yep.
this does not suit Canada at all.
Right.
Well, bad luck. That's what war's about. Sometimes you're on the winning side, sometimes you're on the losing side.
Okay.
And with that in mind, then think how you're going to do it, Mr. Trudeau.
Okay, so Canadian strength on the charts. Let's move on to the monthly Russian ruble. Obviously, lots of things going on in the fundamentals. What are the technicals telling us on the currencies?
On the currencies, again, we had this huge triangle from 2008 to 2013, right, a symmetrical triangle, which, considering all the financial destabilisation we'd been seeing, is actually a very successful attempt at maintaining the currency at 30 rubles per dollar. And I must say the central bank governor, this lady Nabolina, has really got a really tough job on her hands.
I wouldn't fancy doing that job, I've got to say.
Exactly. Anyway, then you can see a big devaluation in 2014 of the ruble, and we go all the way up to 80 rubles. So this is big stuff, right? From 30 to 80 is very expensive, and very quickly too, with some very dramatic moves. And then more triangle consolidation. And we've been basing for a whole year now just above 55 rubles, which is a 50% retracement of the big move, yeah? So all of that technically tells me that we've come to a new interim low.
Right.
And while the rally this month is a lot bigger than what we've seen in yonks,
Yep.
well, it's because we're rallying rather than attempting to base. It's a completely different type of market.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you can see previous sections where the whoosh up is much bigger than when you try to form a base
So
and things like
basically,
that.
there's an inconsistency within the previous consistency.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, and it's different. Bear moves and bull moves tend to be different, just like the stock market tends to implode and then climb a wall of worry.
Yeah.
Here we've got the opposite effect, in that you've got the dollar strengthening
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, and that's my view here, that in this one, the dollar is actually going to get stronger, that we're going to go back up to those 80 rubles and then some, and then some.
And take out the old highs, obviously.
Correct, yes, which is, by the way, a record high already. So the trade to put on then is CAD ruble.
Yep. Yep. No, quite like that. Okay, let's wrap up with a monthly chart of the Chinese yuan. Quite a big move.
Yeah, but look at the scale, Nick. Look at the scale, right? So the low there is just over 6 yuan per dollar. Okay?
Yeah.
That is the record low.
Okay.
Then they went into a sort of a currency devaluation mode from 2014, and they got it up to not even 7 yuan. Okay?
But there's still a 20% appreciation, isn't it?
It's not insignificant, absolutely. Now it's gone all the way the other way round. And again, we've spent the last 2.5 months trying to base at around the 6.25 yuan.
Yeah.
Okay, that is my opinion. And it's a 78% Fibonacci retracement of that depreciation. And the reason I've also picked it out today is a spokesperson from the Commerce Ministry said that Xi Jinping's pledge to cut import tariffs and all the rest of it is not a concession to Washington, that China will not hesitate to fight back if the US escalates its trade spat.
Right.
So this one I think is easy peasy, because we are starting from a relatively strong yuan.
Yep.
So we've got bags of room for manoeuvre here.
Yep.
Bags of room. So I think the next one here is 6.85. Here we come. So this kind of huge whipsawing between 6 and 7 is going to continue, and then we'll see what happens when we get to 7. That's the interesting
So
bit.
you think basically this chart is going to bounce from
And
here?
it will suit the Chinese. A
Yeah.
weaker yuan will suit. And so why not?
Well, it won't keep Mr. Trump particularly happy though, will it?
Too bad.
Nicole, we've run out of time. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. That's Nicole Elliott.